Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can concatenate all the columns that you have available in the Power Query. So what the user wants to do is they want to create a unique column that contains all the columns that are available in the model at any given point in the query, and if in case they bring additional columns, those columns should also be concatenated. So ideally what you would do is you would select all the columns and then go to the add column option and then click on merge columns, and then you can specify any separator. I'm going to use the pipe operator because it looks great, and then I can click on OK. So you can see that I have received another extended column which contains the concatenated string of size, location and cells separated by the pipe operator for each row of that data. But if I move back one step and bring additional columns, so I can bring back product name and date. So you can see that in my final step, which is merged column, the product name and date is no longer included. So that this is what we are going to resolve today and see how we can make this query dynamic so that anytime we bring additional columns, those are still included in the merged column. So let's get started and I will show you how we can achieve that. So let's start by removing the merge step, and then I can remove the additional column that we have already brought in the model so that we can later test the dynamic query that we are going to write. So the next thing that we need to do is create a new custom column, and that would basically be a column that would contain all those values that we have available in any given row. So we are going to create a record of all those values of a given row, and I can name it as all values, and then in the formula all I need to pass in is the underscore as the argument. And you can see that for each row of that data we have a record which contains all the column values for that given row. So we have S1, location 1 and 10, and similarly the same data is available for other columns as other rows as well. Now the next thing that we can do is try to concatenate all those values that are available in this record, but you would see that we are going to get an error, and I will show you why. So let's name it as combined values, and then I can write a use a function which is text.combine, and you can see that it takes text as a list, but we are going to provide it a record, and that is going to return an error. So let's close the parentheses and click on OK. So you can see that we have received the error because it cannot convert type record to type list. So we need to explicitly convert the record into a list, and for that I can go back to the previous step and add another column. So I can write custom column, and then I can click on insert, and all I need to do is name the column as toList, and then I will write record dot to list, and I can pass in my all values column that I have already created. And if I click on OK, you can see that now I have received a list of all those values that are available in all of those columns. And earlier we had a record, but now we have transformed that record into a list. So if I go back to my final step and see if we can resolve this error, and then I can pass in my toList column in the text.combine. Just a second, toList. So you can see that we still receive an error which says that we cannot convert the value 10 to type text. So basically the reason is that the size and the location column are of text data type, but the cells column is of numeric data type, and automatically Power Query cannot convert that into a text. So what we need to do is insert a new step wherein we are going to convert all those values that we have in that list into a text data type. So let's go back one step and see how we can create a new column that will have a list wherein all those values will have a single data type which would be text. And I can go back to the previous step, and let's create a new custom column, and I can click on insert. I will name it as toText, and basically I need to apply a function wherein I will transform each value of that list into the text data type. And for that we have a very nice function which is list.transform, and I need to pass in my column which is toList, and then for each row of that list, I'm going to apply a function which is transform as function. So the function would be each text dot from, and then I can pass in my underscore as the parameter, and then all I need to do is just close that. If I click on OK, you can see that it says toList wasn't recognized. So let's see what the error is. It is toList. Then we have list.transform toList, which says each text.transform. So basically what I need to do is I need to make sure that the toList is passed in as a column and not as a table or a query name. So if I click outside of the code, you can see that we have received our additional column, which is toText, and right now you cannot see, but the data type of this list is text. So we can go back to the final step, and what we can do is, instead of toList, I can pass it the toText column that I have, and if I click outside of that column or the code, you can see that we have received the concatenated values of all those columns. Now all I need to do is just provide it a delimiter, and I'm going to pass in the pipe operator, and we have received the text delimited by the pipe operator. So now let's remove all other columns for a moment. So I can remove these columns, and if I go back to my previous step where I have removed some columns and bring back additional columns, so I can bring product name and date. If I click on OK and go back to the last step, you can see that all those columns are now included in that combined value. So that is what we wanted to achieve, and you can see how easy it was to create a dynamic query which respects all those additional columns that we are going to bring in the model. So that were a lot of steps or columns just to get a single concatenated string. Next, what we can do is just remove all those additional steps that we have created and go to the advanced editor and do everything in just a single step. And so for that, let me just remove the additional columns that I've created, and then I can go to the advanced editor. Let me just zoom in a little bit, and what I can do is create a new step. I'm going to name this step as result, and that would be basically a table.add column and over the previous step, which is remove other columns. So I can just copy and paste it in the first argument, and then I can provide the new column's name. So I can say concatenated string or something like that. Now what I need to do is I need to provide the each keyword, and let's go down to the next line so that we can start writing our code, and it will be basically a let, and then I need to close it by passing in the in. So I'm going to create a variable which is create list. So it will be basically record dot to list, and then I need to provide my underscore as the parameter. Then I can create another variable which is convert to text. It will be basically list dot transform. Then I need to provide my previous variable which is create list, and then I need to write each text dot from, and then provide underscore as the parameter. So then I can create another variable which will be just simply a concatenate, and I can write text dot combine and pass in my previous step which is convert to text, and then I need to provide a delimiter which is the pipe operator, and after the in I need to return my last step which is concatenate, and I need to make sure that table.add columns is closed, and then in the final in operator, after the final in operator, I need to provide the result variable, and if I click done, you can see that I have received the concatenated string of all those columns. And if I try to remove any column from the model, so let's see if it is still working or not. So if I go back to result, you can see that we get a concatenated string of size, location, and cells. So that's what we wanted to achieve, and you can see that by writing custom M code, we were able to reduce the number of steps that we had to apply, and moreover, the code is more readable now because everything is available in a single variable which is result, and then we have nested another let statement inside it. So that was all for this video, and if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section and I will try my level best to answer your queries, and I will see you next time. Till then, have a great day.